Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's Your Story? I'm your host, James Ransom Reed, Jr. I need your help tonight. I need your understanding, and I need your support. But most of all, I need you for the next few moments to keep an open mind as you hear my comments. The poet Phyllis McGinley put it this way: snug lie those that slumber beneath conviction's roof. Their floors are sturdy lumber, their windows weatherproof. But I sleep cold forever, and cold sleep all my kind, for I was born to shiver in the draft from an open mind. That's what I need you to have for the next few moments, an open mind as you listen to what I have to say. I began by saying, I need your help. I desperately need your help and the help of everyone within the sound of my voice and who can see this video. Let me explain why. Dear friends, I am furious, frustrated, afraid, confused, saddened, and in mourning today. I believe that many of you feel the same as I do. My fury is directed at the gun manufacturers who profit by providing the weapons used to slaughter innocent people. My frustration deepens when I hear people who have become resigned to the belief that mass killings are a normal part of everyday life. I live in constant fear that someone I know and love will be the next victim of a senseless act of violence. Am I next? Are you? Is someone you love next? I'm confused when I realize that we have chosen to live this way. Why? It saddens me to have come to the realization that as long as there are huge profits to be made, hundreds of people have been and will continue to be sacrificed at the altar of the firearms industry. I mourn for all those whose loved ones were swept away in a tidal wave of blood, violence, and death. The time to act is now. The goal is to get as many guns off the streets as possible. While you are thinking about this, please consider the following. Take yourself back in our history to the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia in 1787. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Now consider this, if you will. A colossal tsunami of grief, shock, and horror cascaded over the citizens of Philadelphia today with the news that a mass shooting had taken place at Independence Hall, where the Constitution Convention was in session. Among the dead are George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, Roger Sherman, and Charles Pinckney. I wonder how our 18th century forebears would have processed a gruesome event like that. Just roll that around in your mind for a few moments, if you will. What would people living in the 18th century think about the persistent gun-related slaughter of hundreds of innocent men, women, and children in our nation today? How could they have foreseen that the Second Amendment would become a sacrosanct, unimpeded right to hoard weapons of mass destruction capable of killing with the speed and deadly accuracy of a bolt of lightning? Is this what they intended? Whatever the intent, it is the current reality with which we contend. The body count continues to climb while we remain obsequious to the Second Amendment. There must be a way for us to extricate ourselves from this reoccurring, deadly nightmare. What institutions or organizations can we engage to help stop the carnage? We must look to the church for guidance and help in solving this problem. It is, after all, a moral issue. Even though the church is imperfect, it is our last best hope as we struggle to confront and reject the evil and greed that propels the proliferation of guns. It has been stated that you are part of the problem or part of the solution. The time to act is now. We are the breakwaters holding back the rivers of blood that threatens to drown us all. What are our duties when confronted with the abominable massacres happening every day? Each of us must examine what it means to be a citizen, what it means to be your brother's keeper, what it means to love peace, to work for justice. Each of us must examine where we can put our shoulder to the wheel to lift the wagon up and move it forward. And lastly, I have to examine what it means to be a Christian. Profits over people. The firearms industry is a well-connected and politically protected multi-million-dollar profit-making machine. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Matthew 6:24. Ladies and gentlemen, I need your help tonight. I don't want us to be wringing our hands and gnashing our teeth, throwing up our hands in despair and accepting the carnage that's happening every day. There is a better way. It may surprise you to learn that I am suffering from dual personality disorders. As a Christian, I am a maladjusted malcontent. My thinking and behavior are frequently out of sync with people that I encounter. I don't conform to the norm. I will not adjust my thinking to accept the idea that might makes right. I will continue to be a malcontent as long as one person can have a million things and a million people can have nothing. I will never actively participate in the spiritually bankrupt practice of placing profits over people. I have only one master, and I shall serve him until my work is done. As a human being, I can do no more, and as a Christian, I can do no less. In addition to the church, who are our other prospective allies in getting guns off of the streets? Bear in mind, we are not, and I am not, anti-Second Amendment. I believe that people should have the right to have and purchase guns for their homes. I believe that. I am a veteran of the United States Army, a decorated veteran who was prepared to use firearms as so directed by my government. I do not want to take your guns away. Those who tell you that are lying to you. And you must remember this: a lie is still a lie, even if everybody believes it. And the truth is still the truth, even if nobody believes it. Our allies can be found on the blood-stained campuses of our colleges and universities. We will find them cleaning the blood from the walls and floors of our supermarkets, malls, restaurants, nightclubs, dance halls, fitness centers, grade schools, concert venues, and houses of worship. You will find them in the ranks of our first responders. The list is endless. So how do we begin? We begin by asking for God's help with this massive problem. We identify what we need to accomplish, and we determine how to get it done. For obvious reasons, I believe that the church should spearhead this effort. I believe that we should develop a network that encourages people to voluntarily turn in weapons. An example of a type of program to get people and give them incentive to turn in their weapons might be something like guns for groceries. You turn in a gun, you get a debit card for food. There we take a weapon that can kill off of the streets and we nourish your bodies. I know that you are frustrated. I know that you are angry. I know that you are as scared as I am. We are safe nowhere. Nowhere. I firmly believe that God will provide what we need to get the job done. I am tired of wringing my hands and gnashing my teeth. I want to do something, and I believe you do too. I need your help, ladies and gentlemen. I need you to recognize the fierce urgency of the moment. We need to think about the fact and do something about the fact that we live in a nation that has more guns than people. We need to think about the reality that when you have a gun, you're more inclined to use it. To all of my friends, far and wide, there are a lot of pokers in the fire. Pick one for yourself, take it out, and do something. My poker is trying to get guns off of the streets. If I can get one gun voluntarily turned in off of the streets, maybe I saved somebody's life. Think about that. I believe it was Einstein who said that insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. How can putting more guns on the streets solve the problems of gun violence? It makes no sense. And don't let people tell you the lie that all of us who are opposed to gun violence want to take away your Second Amendment right. That's absolutely untrue. I have stated unequivocally during this broadcast, I do not want to take away your right to purchase a firearm or firearms for your homes or whatever you do. But I know that we are facing a moral crisis when our babies are slaughtered in school, when parents are afraid to send their children to school, when you are not safe in the house of your worship because of an act of violence with a gun. Yes, I know that mental illness is a component of the gun violence problem, but that's another poker for you to take out of the fire. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to marginalize that. I want to get the guns off of the streets. That's what I want to do. That's my poker. Pick your own poker and start dealing with it. I understand the change is difficult. I understand that people are reluctant to get involved. We just passed through the Lent, the most holy week in the Christian calendar, of course, leading up to Easter. And you remember the plagues in the Old Testament, Exodus, where the Lord sent plagues to harden the Pharaoh's heart because he would not let the children of Israel go. The Hebrews were advised to put blood over the doors of their homes so that a pestilence sent by God to punish the Egyptians would not harm them. We cannot put blood over our doors in hope that an act of gun violence will pass us by. We don't have that option. But what we can do is stop the blood from flowing in the streets if we get involved. We can change things, ladies and gentlemen. We are a nation of people who can change things for the better. We just have to want to do it. I implore you to get involved in getting guns off of the streets. However you can do it, voluntarily for us, but however you can get a gun off of the streets, I implore you to do so. I need your help today. I need you to join with me in working to get this done. And how can you help? Here's how. Use social media to stop the slaughter. Talk, text, and tweet to encourage family and friends to voluntarily turn in unwanted guns. Connecticut law requires that all guns in private homes have gun locks and be securely locked away. You need to understand that. So put a lock on those guns. Ways to turn in guns. Contact your local police department. Sell them to gun stores. Make sure that you have the right to turn in someone else's gun. You cannot do so without their permission, except in cases where you have power of attorney or the person is suffering from dementia. Gun locks are provided free by many police departments. Call them up and see if you can get one. Sleepovers. If you have youngsters who go and sleep over at other people's homes, it's a good idea to ask the homeowner if there are guns there, and if those guns are properly secured with a gun lock and locked away. We don't want to wait for a tragedy to happen before we react. It may surprise you to learn that I am a MAGA person, but MAGA means something very different to me. It means make America grateful again. We are a nation of laws, not of men. We should be grateful for that. We are blessed with bounties and the beauty of this great land. We should be grateful for that. We are a free people. We should be grateful for that. We are a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. We should be grateful for that. We can lock arms and stop the slaughter from sea to shining sea. I am convinced that the virus of hate is no match for the vaccine of love. I am convinced that all that is necessary for evil to prevail is for good people to do nothing. Please join me. Contact your churches. Contact your friends. Contact your houses of worship. Contact anyone you can and see what you can do to get weapons off of the streets voluntarily. That's what I ask you to do, ladies and gentlemen. I need your help. I began this program by saying so. And I want you to think of something else as I close this night. I am also pro-life. And what does that mean? It means stopping the slaughter on our streets is a pro-life issue. I'm going to do what I can to voluntarily get people to get guns off of the streets. I need your help. Please join me in this effort. Thank you so very much tonight for listening to me. If you have questions, my email address is on the screen. So please help me. That's all the time we have for tonight's show. I'm your host, James Ransom Reed Jr. Everybody has a story. What's yours? Until next time, good night.
Nick Augustino right here at the East Side Restaurant. We always have the complete full dinner menu. Knockwurst, bratwurst, sauerbraten, potato pancakes, red cabbage, rice pudding, cream pies, all the desserts that Germany had to offer. I always do something different. Yes, I do. I brought seafood to the beer garden at the East Side Restaurant. East Side Restaurant, your German destination restaurant in Connecticut. Tiki-taka, hoy, hoy, hoy!